Good morning. Today I am going to start with the metabolism part of pharmacokinetics. Till now I have covered with the absorption and the distribution. So today's lecture is on the metabolism of drug, what metabolism is. So at the end of today's class, you will be able to understand what is the biotransformation or metabolism of drug, where or the what is the site for biotransformation, what is first pass metabolism. I have explained you first pass metabolism in previous classes also. So a very important concept is of prodrugs. Then what are the different phases of reaction, phase 1 and phase 2, and what is the importance of the microsomal enzymes, or what are the interaction which takes place at the level of these microsomal enzymes. So beginning this today's lecture, so pharmacokinetics, metabolism means it is the conversion of non-polar compounds into polar water-soluble products inside the body. And this process is going to help in the excretion of the drugs from the body. So after distribution, the drug is going to act and then act in the body. Then what will be the fate of the drug? So the fate is that after its action, what effect we have taken the drug in our body. So after that, what happens? The drug will be rendered into such a product so that it can be excreted out very easily from the body. So as I have explained you earlier also, so the conversion of a polar compound into non-polar compound into polar water soluble product will result in its easy removal from the body. So that is the need of this biotransformation. There are certain drugs which are excreted unchanged, such as benzyl penicillin, where no transformation is required. Then there are certain drugs which undergo partial biotransformation, such as aspirin and the paracetamol. So these drugs are excreted in both unchanged as well as the metabolite form. Then there are certain drugs which undergo complete biotransformation for its excretion based on this same concept. So they are metabolites like chloramphenicol. They're only the metabolites, they are excreted out of body. So what biotransformation helps? It helps to excrete the toxic chemicals, the xenobiotics, from the body. So what are the different sites? The most important site for biotransformation is the liver. Other tissues, a part of liver where the biotransformation can occur, are the intestine, lungs, plasma, and mucosa. And the drugs which are taken orally, they also undergo the biotransformation by the colonic bacteria, where azo reduction or the hydrolytic reactions also occur, which helps in the biotransformation of the drug. And the very important enzyme for the biotransformation is the microsomal cytochrome P450. This P stands for pink and 450 is the wavelength. So this cytochrome P450, which is found in the smooth endoplasmic reticulum, is the microsomal enzyme which carries out the majority of the biotransformation of the drug in our body. First pass effect of the metabolism is the metabolism of drug before reaching the systemic circulation. And this I have explained you earlier. These are the drugs which are having very high first pass metabolism, such as lignocaine, morphine, glyceryl trinitrate, etc. So then the very important concept is that of prodrug. So prodrug is the precursor of a drug. So it is a medication or compound that after administration is metabolized into a pharmacologically active drug. So prodrug is the precursor drug. So it gets converted in the body to the active drug. As I have to talk when I was talking about levodopa and dopamine. So dopamine cannot cross blood-brain barrier. So we give it in a prodrug form, that is levodopa. Actually, levodopa is not going to act. It gets converted in our body to the by dopa decarboxylase enzyme to dopamine, and this dopamine is then going to be effective in Parkinson's disease. Similarly, there were certain restrictions with the ampicillin. So becampicillin is the prodrug of ampicillin. What happens with these prodrugs is that they improve the pharmacokinetics of the drug. That means their absorption. And for levodopa, one more benefit of this prodrug is that the absorption is good. It easily crosses blood-brain barrier. And a part of that also, one more important effect is that it decreases the peripheral areas of the dopamine. If we are going to take dopamine, they are going to produce peripheral side effects. And by taking this levodopa, these peripheral side effects are reduced. So these are certain drugs like which are taken as prodrug like levodopa, dopamine, enalapril, active form of enalapril. Dipivifrin is prodrug for epinephrine, proguanil for cycloguanil, prednisone for prednisolone. Sulfasalazine is used in treatment of hyperuricemia, 5-aminosalicylic acid. Then cyclophosphamide. So similarly, acyclovir is an antiviral drug. Active form is the acyclovir triphosphate. So these are certain drugs which are taken as prodrugs, and their metabolites are the active drug. So there can be three fates of a drug. A prodrug can be converted by biotransformation into active drug, or a active drug can be metabolized into metabolites which are active drugs. So example is digitoxin is converted by metabolism into digoxin, and both these are active drugs. Similarly, active drugs can be metabolized to leading to the inactivation of drugs. So these can be the fates by biotransformation. Lignocaine or ibuprofen, they after metabolism they are excreted out from the body by inactivation. So so these are the example of those drugs whose metabolites are also active, like morphine 6-glucuronide. One very important example is that of allopurinol. So it is used in gout, allopurinol and alloxanthine. From allopurinol, alloxanthine is formed by the action of the xanthine oxidase enzyme. And this alloxanthine also inhibits the synthesis of uric acid. And allopurinol also inhibits the synthesis of uric acid. So both these active drug as well as its metabolite, both are active. Similarly, is with diazepam, oxazepam, digitoxin, I have told you. Then codeine, it is morphine, spironolactone, canrenone. So the both the active drug and the metabolite, they are active. So coming to the different phases of drug metabolism, as I have told you, phase one reaction and phase two reactions are there. Phase one reactions are degenerative reactions, and phase two reactions are the conjugative reactions. Once a drug is inside our body as an active drug, it can be excreted from our body in the unchanged form. Or if it undergoes metabolism, it can undertake phase one reaction or phase two reaction. Through the phase one reaction, whatsoever the metabolites are formed, then they can be excreted as such also if they are water soluble, or they can undergo phase one, phase two reaction further, and the end products of the phase two reaction metabolites, they are 100% water soluble, so they are excreted out of the body. So that I will clear it more. What is the difference between these two reactions? So as I told you, the phase one reaction, they are carried out by the microsomal system or the enzyme cytochrome P450, while the phase two reactions are taken up by the conjugation enzyme. So phase one reaction are the degenerative reaction, while phase two reactions are the conjugative reactions. These are non-microsomal. Okay, the enzymes, they are non-microsomal. Phase one reactions, these enzymes are inducible one, and conjugation enzymes are not inducible usually. Phase one reactions are carried out by these enzymes. These are basically oxidative enzymes, while phase two enzymes are the transferase enzymes basically involved. Phase one reaction, there is addition of hydrogen or the hydroxyl ion. Phase two reaction, there is usually a conjugation of a moiety, usually a hydrocarbon. So phase one reaction is a degenerative reaction. Phase two reaction is an additive reaction. And the products are of phase 1 reaction are usually water soluble, but products of phase 2 are always, that means 100% they are water soluble. In the phase 2 reaction, glucuronidation is one of the reaction which is carried out by the microsomal enzymes. That is very important uh, question also. So in the biotransformation, what happens if we have taken a drug example, for example, as aspirin. In the phase 1 reaction, what happens? Hydrolysis occurs. So leading to the formation of salicylic acid. And this undergoes phase 2 reaction where glucuronyl transferase transfers the glucuronyl conjugation is there, leading to the formation of the metabolites which are 100% water soluble and they are excreted as such. So the phase 1 reactions, different phase 1 reactions are oxidation, reduction, cyclization, decyclization, and the hydrolysis. So the mnemonic to remember this is cow. C for cyclization, O for oxidation, and W for water, that is hydrolysis. While phase 2 reaction, these are the phase 2 reaction the, um, where there is transfer of certain moieties. So aspirin undergoes the glucuronyl transfer UDP glucuronyl transferase. So it will transfer this moiety. Then paracetamol undergoes glutathione addition, that is glutathione S transferase enzyme is involved. Then isoniazid undergoes acetylation by the help of the N-acetyl transferase, which transfers the acetyl group. Then there are sex hormones or the steroids, they undergo sulfotransferase uh, sulfonation. That is the moiety which is being added for their excretion or metabolism. So coming to the phase 1 reaction, that is oxidation, it is most important drug metabolizing reaction where there is addition of oxygen or negatively charged radical or removal of hydrogen or positively charged radical. So these various oxidation reactions are oxygenation, hydroxylation of carbon, nitrogen or the sulfur atoms, and nitrogen or oxygen dealkylation. So the important drugs like barbiturate, phenothiazines, paracetamol and steroids, they undergo the phase 1 oxidation reaction. And this oxidation reaction, they are carried by the cytochrome P450 monooxygenase, NADPH, and the oxygen. There are more than hundreds of these microsomal enzyme, isoenzyme, and they are grouped into 20 families, and the families are number 1, 2, and 3. And the subfamilies, they are numbered as A, B, C. And in our body, human, 3 isoenzyme families are important, that is CYP1, 2, and 3. And out of these, the most important one is the CYP3A4 and the CYP3A5, which carried out around 30 to 50% of the drug biotransformation. And in addition to liver, these isoforms are also expressed in the intestine, where they are responsible for the first pass metabolism, and also in the kidney. So the inhibition of these microsomal enzymes, CYP3A4, by certain drugs like erythromycin, clarithromycin, ketoconazole, itraconazole, etc., or the grape juice constituents, they will be responsible for unwanted interaction with terfenadine and estimazole. What happens that these enzymes are carries out metabolism of these drugs, terfenadine and estimazole. So if we are taking these drugs with certain other drugs which are inhibiting this enzyme, so we will have the metabolism of these drugs will be decreased, and so their toxicity or the ADAs will increase. Vice versa, rifampicin, phenytoin, carbamazepine, and phenobarbital, these are inducers of CYP3A4. So the inducers, they will increase the level of the metabolizing enzyme. So what will happen? Those drugs which are metabolized by CYP3A4, they are more metabolized. So there will be therapeutic failure of the treatment. So it is majority is carried by 3A45, and second important one is CYP2D6, then 2C, 1A2, and 2E1. So these are the different enzymes which carries out the majority of the biotransformation, microsomal biotransformation. There are some non-microsomal enzyme oxidase also, which carries out the oxidation reaction. Like for alcohol, we have that alcohol dehydrogenase. Adrenaline is monoamine oxidase or catechol O-methyl transferase. Then mercaptopurine, it is xanthine oxidase. So these are non-microsomal oxidative reaction carrying enzymes. Then coming to the next type of phase one reaction is reduction, and reduction is just opposite to that of the oxidation, and this is also carried out by the cytochrome P450 enzymes, and the drugs metabolize at chloramphenicol, levodopa, halogen. So levodopa is converted to dopamine by the help of enzyme that is dopa decarboxylase, and there is this type of reaction is the reduction reaction. Then the other is the hydrolysis, where there is cleavage of the drug by taking up a molecule of water. And similarly, amides or the polypeptides are also hydrolyzed by the amidase or the peptidases. And this hydrolysis occurs in the liver, intestine, plasma, and other tissues. Important enzymes involved are the cholinesterase, procaine, lignocaine. So these what they do: acetylcholine with water in the presence of cholinesterase. The cholinesterase metabolizes the acetylcholine. So when you will be taught ANS, you will come to know about the importance of this metabolizing enzyme. Leads to the inactivation of the acetylcholine and formation of choline and acetic acid. So this is a hydrolysis reaction. Then cyclization is the formation of ring structure from a straight chain compound like proguanil undergoes cyclization. Then other drugs which are excreted is decyclization. That means there is opening of the ring structure of a molecule such as phenytoin or the barbiturates. Coming to the phase 2 metabolism. Phase 2 metabolism is a high energy dependent process where there is conjugation of drugs or its phase 1 metabolite with an endogenous substrate. The substrate has to be endogenous, leading to the formation of polar, highly ionized organic acid to be excreted in urine or bile. So the phase 2 reaction, important one is the glucuronidation conjugation reaction, which is the most important synthetic reaction, and the compounds with hydroxyl or carboxylic acid groups are easily conjugated. Example is chloramphenicol, aspirin, morphine, metronidazole, bilirubin, thyroxine. And drug glucuronides, the conjugates, they are excreted in the bile, and then they are hydrolyzed by the bacteria in the gut, which produces the beta glucuronidase, and the active drug which is liberated in the intestine is then reabsorbed and undergoes the same fate through the enterohepatic recirculation. And those drugs which undergoes this repeated cycle of enterohepatic recirculation, their action is prolonged. Examples are the oral contraceptive pills, chloramphenicol, phenolphthalein, etc. So this is what I was talking about. That the drug gets glucuronidated inside the liver by the glucuronyl transferase. Then the this complex is secreted through the bile, and it reaches majority of the drug reaches into the intestine, where the bacteria acts by deconjugation, and the free drug is reabsorbed. Some of the free drug is excreted in the feces. Apart of that, some of this conjugate comes into the systemic circulation, and from the kidney through the glomerular filtration as well as the tubular secretion, then comes into the urine and is excreted out. So the drug which comes into the intestine through the portal vein is taken back to the liver, and then it comes into circulation. So these drugs become longer acting, and they recirculates through this enterohepatic cycling of the drug. Other type of phase 2 metabolism is the acetylation, where compound is conjugated with the help of acetyl-CoA. And examples are the sulfonamide and isoniazid. There is an important genetic polymorphism with the slow and the fast acetylators. That means two individuals are not same acetylators. Like Indians, we are slow acetylators. The Japanese, they are the fast acetylators. And what happens with these slow and fast acetylators is that isoniazid, it is slowly metabolized by the slow acetylators. So what happens? Uh, the more of the isoniazid that gets accumulated inside the body. So this more of this isoniazid, what it does, it inhibits the pyridoxine and thereby the myelination of the neurons, leading to the peripheral neuropathies. So it is common with the slow acetylators. What happens in the fast acetylators, that the isoniazid metabolites are formed very quickly, and more of the metabolites are formed. So these metabolites then bind with the hepatocytes, and then they cause the hepatotoxicity. So isoniazid in the four fast acetylators, the common toxicity will become the hepatotoxicity. So that these differences in the ADRs is because of the genetic polymorphism as slow and the fast acetylators. Then sulfate conjugation occurs with drugs such as chloramphenicol, adrenal, and the sex steroids. Next is the methylation, where there is addition of the methyl group from the methionine or the cysteine, which acts as the methyl donors. Example are the adrenaline, histamine, nicotinic acid. Then there is ribonucleotide or nucleoside synthesis, activation of many purine and pyrimidine antimetabolites, and this is used in cancer chemotherapy. So, what are the factors which affect the biotransformation? Are the concurrent use of drugs, whether a drug is an inducer of enzyme or the inhibitors. Based on that, there can be different effect. Then genetic polymorphism, pollutant exposure from the environment can lead to the variation of these metabolizing enzymes. Then the pathological states such as liver disease, there can be decreased metabolizing enzyme, and that with the age also there can be certain comorbid conditions. So coming to the enzyme inhibitors, where one drug can inhibit the metabolism or other if utilizing the same drug. However, not common because different drugs are metabolized or they are substrate of different cytochromes. A drug may inhibit one isoenzyme while being substrate to the other isoenzyme. Example is the quinidine, which is CYP3A4 inhibitor and is substrate for 2D6. And this enzyme inhibition is rapid as compared to enzyme induction, as enzyme induction takes time. Some enzyme inhibitors, these are omeprazole, metronidazole, isoniazid, ciprofloxacin, or sulfonamides. So coming to the microsomal enzyme induction, the anti-epileptic drugs are like phenobarbital, CYP3A inducers, rifampicin glucocorticoids. Then CYP2E1 inducers are isoniazid, acetone, chlorine, use of alcohol. Other like cigarette smoking, charcoal broiled meat, industrial pollutant, they are inducers for cytochrome P1A. And what happens with this enzyme induction is that there can be decreased intensity or there can be failure of OCPs. OCPs, they are metabolized by certain uh, microsomal enzymes, and enzyme induction will lead to increased metabolism of these oral contraceptive pills and then can lead to therapeutic failure. Another thing they can do is that they can increase intensity of the toxicity. Enzyme induction can lead to excessive metabolism of certain drugs like paracetamol poisoning occurs because of increased metabolism and formation of this metabolite, that is NAPQI. This NAPQI metabolites then causes the toxicity of during the paracetamol poisoning. Another important feature is tolerance, which occurs with the carbamazepine, as carbamazepine induces its own metabolism. And tolerance means that after a certain level, when we are going to increase the dose further, the the effect is not going to increase because the drug itself will induce its own metabolism. So no more further effect will come. Then endogenous substrates are metabolized faster, such as steroids or the bilirubin. And this we can use clinically in congenital non-hemolytic jaundice, and it is due to deficient glucuronidation of bilirubin, and we give phenobarbital, which is enzyme inducer, and this will increase the glucuronidation of bilirubin and thereby excretion, and then thereby clear the jaundice. Similarly, in Cushing's syndrome, phenytoin may reduce the manifestation by enhancing degradation of adrenal steroids which are produced in excess, and in chronic poisoning, faster metabolism of the accumulated poisonous substances where we use enzyme induction, and liver diseases we use give enzyme inducers. And one more important concept is that of Hoffman's elimination. What this Hoffman elimination is that there is inactivation of a drug in the body by spontaneous molecular rearrangement without the agency of any enzyme. So no enzyme is required, but it is merely the rearrangement of the molecule itself leading to its inactivation. And this occurs commonly with the atracurium. So that was all for